Welcome to the Realty Hack Podcast, where we talk about damn good tips for leveling up your top performing real estate team or brokerage. Today's topic is about dominating your neighborhood farm with special guest, my sister, Dena Davis. My name is Ryan Rodenbeck, broker owner of Spyglass Realty.
And I'm Kelly, the Director of Marketing here at Spyglass Realty. Today we have on the podcast Dena Davis of Davis Company Real Estate. How are you doing today, Dena?
I'm great, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. So background, Dena is a real estate broker. She's probably also the only woman that I've ever peed on her face as a baby. So that's an interesting element to this. And she is my older sister. We both got into real estate for a long time, and I thought that she would be really good because she dominates her farm, and I think that that's a valuable lesson for anybody that is wanting to get into farming. And so, taking it from the top here, how do you go? What made you decide to start your farm, and how did you go about like putting the processes together?
Well, what made me go about it was just, and I know you've probably, every agent's been in this position of seeing the listings go up around you and like, why didn't I get that one? Why didn't I get that one? Why didn't I get that one? Well, the reason why you didn't get that one is because you've never demonstrated your competence in front of the audience. Mm-hmm. You may have been someone that they knew in the community, but
so what was the first process of? And I know it's like anything that we do, it never really happens. It's all trial and error. But what was the first thing you did? Was it postcards? Was it community events?
Yeah. So I did postcards and newsletters, mm-hmm. because when I first started here, I didn't have any listings. Mm-hmm. So what I became was the micro source for all things Shady Hollow.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do like really elaborate marketing brochures. You go all out on it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm here to tell you, because I did that for a time in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I think, it definitely works, but look, it is a beast to do repeatable, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It is. Those kind of communications, agents want to default to canned content.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah. So you want something that is, something valuable that they're going to read, not just what your home is worth, but like what it may be, what's going on in the neighborhood, what's going on in history of values, things like that. Right.
Right. So it's things that they can't find on the internet. So, yeah. And then also local issues affecting real estate. Like at one point, we had the I-45 that was coming through, close to our neighborhood, that was going to reroute the traffic around our neighborhood. This might have been something that was covered by community impact news at some point, but it's super, super important to people right here.
Yeah.
So it's to stay on the local issues.
Yeah.
Then we fought annexation from the city of Austin. So that's something else that you can, that I was able to get involved in eventually, not really even to be involved in the process, but just a report on the process for those who were involved.
Yeah. You're being a journalist to some extent.
Yeah. If there was a large enough audience to have a YouTube channel for my farm, then I'd be doing that.
Yeah, I did one. I did a few. I did this for a couple of years, and my career went in kind of a different direction. But like, I did one. The biggest one I did was when they had construction on South Lamar, and they were tearing down like the muffler shops and putting up these, mid-rise condos. I did one called "The Future of South Lamar."
I remember that. It was awesome.
And I put, I did interviewed and put the, artist renderings or the architectural renderings on there. And it was the biggest I mean, years later, people are like, I remember you did the future. And what's funny about that is I did it from like non-biased, but like I got people that would mention it a year later, and people, you know, we on both sides of it. Like I had people that were emailing me that were, you know, the NIMBY, not in my backyard. People are like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this to your city. And then other people's like, oh, this is so cool. We've got, you know, mixed retail. So, you know, taking a neutral stance on these issues is probably important as well.
Unless it's, well, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, with the annexation with the city of Austin, it was overwhelmingly 99.9% of the people wanted it. So then it was okay to step out on a limb.
Sure. So what other things?
They wanted to avoid it is what they wanted.
Yeah. So we provide, you know, marketing services for agents that want to do a farm. Like we design postcards, do Facebook ads and all that. And you know, when we started rolling this out, we had agents that were like, you know, newer and like, oh, I want to do it. And what I tell them is like, look, this is not a magic pill. Okay. If you don't have a presence in that neighborhood, meaning you don't have kids that are going to school, you don't have listings, you don't have community involvement, or at the very least, you're not doing, you know, open houses for other agents in that neighborhood, this branding and marketing we're doing is probably not going to do much. And I know you have a lot to do with the community events. Tell us about how that plays into your role of farming.
Well, initially, I didn't do community events.
Right.
Okay, what I did initially was I went out there and got listings, and then in a very difficult market at that time, and I never let them forget who sold it.
Yes. Okay. Got it. But that I mean, getting listings is a community event because you got listings from your neighbors, right? So
I got it from I got, not necessarily. I got listings from my marketing.
From your marketing. Okay.
I got listings from my marketing, and then I would capitalize on that listing and just never let them. I mean, you'd think, you know, that something miraculous happened. I mean, it was miraculous at the time that I had a listing.
Okay. Here's another question with regard to that, because I get this all the time. How long did it take for you to see the results of the marketing? You may not remember it so long ago, but
it wasn't that long ago. I would have to say, look, the first year, and look, I had money to spend. So let's be frank here. I wasn't spending my last dime on the farming. Okay. So I would say that after really pounding it for a year, I started to see some listings.
Right.
Okay. The problem as I see is I talk to people, and I have mentored people in the past. Mm-hmm. And I don't do it anymore because I don't have time. But you know, they want to spend that. They want to. How many postcards you have to send out before you get a call?
Yeah.
And it's not that.
Yeah.
You know.
What is it?
Well, what it is it's a couple of things: consistency, mm-hmm. a demonstration of your competence. Because otherwise, I mean, anybody can send out a postcard.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is social proof.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, you do more in the online environment than I do. And it's, you know, the social proof that people are interacting with you. Yeah. But, you know, social proof of when you're sending out that someone did business with you.
Yeah. Like a testimonials.
A testimonial, or even just, you know, this was sold in this amount of time, type of thing. You know, then the events came later. Mm-hmm. You know, but also just creating opportunities. You know, my mindset on farming is I see myself as a mayor. There is no mayor, Shady.
Well, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk says digital mayor. He says that all the time.
Right. You know, and if there is a mayor, it's the HOA that is the mayor. But what my mindset is how can I obligate to this community?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, when I originally started farming, like one of the things that I did to get myself involved more with the community is I used to have this program where I gave people free garage sale signs.
Oh, right.
You remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Pain in the butt to manage. Geez. Whew, that was a
And you
pain.
didn't even brand those.
Well, I no, I didn't brand them because I didn't want people to think that they were, real estate signs. I wanted them to go to the garage sales.
Right.
But in Texas, the ground is really, hard
Yeah.
to get the stakes in. So I had the ones that would come out like that, the sandwich board signs.
Yeah.
And I would go around and I deliver these to the people's house. And
Yeah.
then they had to put the garage sale signs out. And then sometimes they'd come back and bring them to my house, or I'd go over there. Now, people having garage sales and thinking about having garage sales are also thinking, I need to clean this stuff out because I'm going to sell my house.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Right. And for some time, I did that.
Yeah.
Another way that I obligated to the community, and I still do it today, although I don't advertise it as much as I should, was rehab consulting.
Yeah, we did that for years.
Yeah, and not that I'm going to do rehab at all, but
Yeah.
what I'm offering is, look, if you're going to sell your house in 5 years,
Yeah.
this is what's going to pay, and this is not what's going to pay. If you're going to live in your house for 20 years, there's probably a better person to call than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of that, designing for the sexes where the husband wants to do this and the wife wants to do this, and they have that specific question.
Yeah.
So I do that. I
Yeah.
get
And
work
so
all the time for that kind of thing.
what's interesting is that is you're doing the pre-digital, pre-YouTube mentality of, okay, marketing brings attention, okay, but service builds sales. And I see this when I look at a consultant, when I look for like I hire all kinds of consultants, our friend Owen Himsmath, Owen Video. The reason I hired him is because I watched several hours of his videos on YouTube where he gave away the tips.
Right.
And then I said, okay, this is a guy, I'm going to reach out and see if obviously he'll work with me, but that's how you were doing that in the print version. I think that's so important for people to understand, is that your advertising is what's the term, WIFM, what's in it for me?
Right.
That's what the consumer's thinking. So if it's all about, oh yeah, I sold, now you have to have some of that too, because it's like you said, it's social proof. But if it's all about what the person you're getting business from is doing, you're not providing them a service, and that's not going to build a sales funnel.
Right. Other services, and as we're talking about it, thinking of other ones that people could duplicate easily is protesting your taxes.
Yeah, right.
Helping people protest the taxes. Now, I don't even protest my own taxes. I'm signed up with a tax service, but people want comps, and it has to be from the year before, not something that they found somewhere else. And this is a pain.
Oh, yeah.
Because the time of the year where they're asking for that is
busy.
the busiest time of year.
Yeah.
So as I've been able to to ramp up, I'll have an assistant that goes and pulls that. But I have people that ask me that every year. And trust me, I'm top of mind when they come, when they want to sell, or they have a friend, and that's helped out as well.
Yeah. Okay, so talk about your community involvement, because I know you've done some stuff that is really neat and kind of out of the box. What do you tell us about that?
Well, I'll tell you what I do and don't do. So first of all, I don't do board of director activities.
Yeah.
I don't do things where you can get on the wrong side of the community.
Right.
I'm here for the fun and games, and that's it.
Yeah, right.
So things like I've done an Easter egg hunt for 400 kids. It was also sponsored by the HOA, but I was the organizer of it, and the sole sponsor, and the person who paid for it.
Yeah.
So that was an incredible opportunity. during COVID recently, and this was such a, oh, I do pie giveaways.
Yeah.
Okay. So Thanksgiving, I sent out 3,200 invitations for the community members to come by and get a free pie.
Wow. How many did
And
how many did you give away?
we gave away 240 pies.
Wow.
But here's the thing, you got credit for everyone you sent it to,
Yeah.
whether
Sure.
they like pie or not.
Yeah. It's
And
a
then
commitment.
it's the commitment, and they all sign up through the Eventbrite,
Yeah.
you know, and so you're able to build that list year after year.
Yeah.
So here's the funny thing was we did the pie giveaway last year, and this year, of course, it was COVID. And so we just had a drive-through pie giveaway. It was better than coming into the community center and getting it,
Yeah.
because it allowed us to service a lot of people. It was easy, and people were just so glad, to see us, just to
Yeah.
see
Right.
other people during COVID.
Yeah.
Then the next one that we did was a drive-through Santa event. That kind of thought, okay, well, Santa Claus, the HOA didn't have Santa Claus, and all the normal wonderful things that this amazing HOA does just got clipped. And so
Yeah.
we said, we're going to do a drive-through Santa event.
Yeah.
And we had Santa Claus. I think I sent some pictures over. I don't know if you have the one with the kids, and
Yeah. I saw it.
maybe you want to show that, but that was amazing. We sold out. We had 30 cars per hour.
Wow.
Okay. And I get 2 minutes to get each car through. And then of course we give the pictures to them after the event, and it was wonderful. And we got people from the neighborhood to help us staff the event.
Wow.
So you're not only doing the event, you're involving key people in the neighborhood who are influencers.
So this is really interesting to me because we've been doing coaching with agents, and we're looking at, like, what's a content calendar look like, right? When I say a content calendar, it's a content calendar of like gift giving and stuff. And mainly what we're talking about is for, inducing referrals from past clients, right?
Yeah.
But those are some great ideas. I mean, you also have this big Halloween giveaway.
Oh yeah, the Halloween giveaway is huge.
Yeah.
So that's one. If you live in the neighborhood that you're farming, and if you don't, I think you can do some events as well. Just get a house. But I give out the biggest Halloween candy.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
know. We've gotten it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like at the movie theaters, right?
Yeah.
The big giant things. And I just, I don't know. That's the McDonald's strategy of marketing. When McDonald's decided that, they were going to get attention from kids.
Yeah.
And, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to have kids, when they see my sign, that's the candy lady.
Yeah. What's your experience between digital ads versus physical ads? But like, when you look at what you're doing, like, digital ads aren't going to compete. They may complement, right? But they're not even going to compete, because it's just like you're really involved in the community in a way that really, I don't know anybody else that is. And I'm not saying that because you're my sister, because it really is. And the proof is in the pudding there. Like, you made a commitment to serve your neighborhood. And yes, you're doing it for sales, but it's also, being a part of the neighborhood and having that genuine intention.
Yes. And I think the other thing too is just getting back to, some questions for your viewers here, about choosing the farm.
Yeah.
You remember when I moved out of the farm after my split briefly, my mom used to say to me, I got another mailer from Ashley Stuckey. You should go, market to this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Wow, Ashley Stuckey and John Squires, they'll kill me,
Yeah.
So what it is when I came into this area, there wasn't a real top producer.
Yeah, right.
And what I see out there, and I've had people try to take it in the past, is, they want to farm the area that they live in so bad. You need to really look and see if anyone is dominating that farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Already, because this is if they really are dominating, and they dominant agent is when someone has 20% or more of the listings,
Yeah.
it's going to be difficult. So farm selection is key.
Yeah.
The second thing I would say too is go deep, not wide.
Yeah. Kevin Bales.
Oh yeah, Kevin Bales, exactly. And there's just, when I started here, and I say Shady Hollow, but it's actually the entire Brody corridor. Okay,
Yeah.
that's from Slaughter, almost from Slaughter down. But you get one and then you annex the next and
Exactly.
you annex the next. So I didn't annex the next
Yeah.
until I had this one, here.
Yeah, and I made that mistake. I at one point I did almost the entire zip code of 78704, and it was just like way too much.
You can't keep it up.
No, you can't keep it up, and you're not developing relationships that way. So,
Right.
You answered a lot of the questions, but let me ask two more here. What would the first thing you would recommend for an agent who's never ventured into this before?
I think they need to write out a budget as to let's just see, how deep, if you're going deep, not wide, what is your market? And I think Tom Ferry, maybe he's got some good material on choosing a farm. We don't need to go into, turn ratios and things like that. People are part of that. But choose and then make your budget out and look and see, is this a community that I'm going to be able to obligate to?
Yeah.
I like communities that have a community center.
Yeah.
Because that's a staging ground for you to be able to obligate to them.
Right. And I think that somebody had told me that I think it's like once you get over 5% market share, you said 20%, but like it gets tougher over 5, and then at 15 has been the threshold, right? And then the turnover needs to be, I think, if I remember correctly, is 5% or more turnover of a neighborhood.
Right. I think I think it's 7, but I don't think 7 is realistic.
Right. Well, especially not now.
So I think the 5 is the fallback to possibly achievable.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what is your best advice for struggling agents who are doing farming during this extremely competitive time in Austin real estate?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that during this time.
Yeah. My advice is look, don't worry about it. Right. In other words, set up what you're going to do for the next two years. Pretend like it's not a bad market.
Right.
And don't really worry about the results. Maybe don't spend as much money as you would if, you knew that there was more inventory coming on board, but just commit, right? Because, I used to say, commit to 6 months. In this market, commit to 1.5 years, right?
Right.
I mean, at least.
Right. I mean, if you continue to do what you need to do consistently, the results will come.
Yeah.
So I would say that's what I would say to keep at it.
Yeah. Well, it has been a pleasure having you on. And
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, where can anybody find you if they're looking for you online?
They can find me at daviscompany.com or Dena Davis Austin on Facebook.
Awesome.
Dena Davis team.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you very much. And thanks for coming on board.
Thank you, Dena.
Thanks for having me as your guest.